What's up, everyone? The Big Brother nightclub is in full swing and one house guest is on a warpath. We've got so much to talk about, guys, so welcome to your live feed update. Alright folks, so first things first, I'm not wearing shades just for the sake of wearing shades. It is very sunny out here. I started recording and I was practically squinting at the camera the whole time, looking like I was in pain from the sun shining down on me. So this is take two. This is take two with shades now. So there you go, folks. I mean, if you saw yesterday's video, you'll know that I'm not in my usual recording space. Of course, I've gone on a getaway for the week, just in case you just tuned in today if you didn't see yesterday's. But of course, my live feed updates will still be coming to you, folks, so don't you worry. Now, while Sarah Beth isn't actually the head of household this week, nor a nominee, she has definitely been a key player this week. Her name has been thrown around a lot, and we've seen her play hard. You know, you guys have seen me endorse Sarah Beth. I think she's fantastic. She's there to play the game, she's there to dominate, and she's there to make big moves. She's not there to float. She wants to get to the end and win the $750,000. So for that, I've got a lot of respect for her. But when the house target is Whitney this week, she has been pushing Hannah like crazy, and people are picking up on it and going, oh my god, she wants her own way. And we talked about yesterday how she kind of snapped at Big Brother when she called them out for you know, house guests, you're not allowed to sleep in the day, and she went on at them. I still like Sarah Beth. You all know that, I said it. But her name is getting thrown around a lot, not as a potential target, but somebody who is on people's mouths, just as someone who is kind of creating a stir this week. So she probably needs to calm it down a little bit. She really wants to get Hannah out. And I think even in a conversation with Kylan, she said if it somehow is a double next week, which we know it's probably not, they would never do, or would never usually do, a double breaching over from fifth evictee to the first member of the jury. That would seem really random to have those two sections in one night. So anyway, she said if she was to win head of household, she would be going for Derek X. She really, I think, just wants to split up Derek X and Hannah. Now, I've seen a lot of people giving Sarah Beth flack, saying, "Oh, it's bad that she's doing this. She's really, listen, right? We've all got our favourites, and yes, Derek X is brilliant. Hannah's brilliant also, and so is Sarah Beth. But listen, what do we expect? All of our favourites to get down to the final 12, and then there's just a 12-way tie? Doesn't work like that. This is Big Brother, and our favourites will have to turn on each other, and we as viewers probably should still respect all these players because they're still making the moves. Yes, I've got my favourites, but equally I'm realising, I talked about the other day, listen, I think Tiffany and Claire are fantastic, but Tiffany was also talking about the fact that she needs to get the cookout further to the end, and to do so, she would take out Claire. I don't hate Tiffany for that because I really like both Claire and Tiffany. She's playing the game, and to be honest, we should be thankful for that. Anybody who's there to play the game, we should be respecting rather than disrespecting, and that's exactly what Sarah Beth's doing right now. While she's targeting some of our favourites, being Derek X and Hannah, Sarah Beth is also a favourite, and she's playing the game, so big respect to her. Whitney was talking to Brittany, saying that she feels she's kind of a bit ostracised from the house now. Her teammates aren't even talking to her, and she feels, oh, Fly just joined me there, folks. I see, y'all have seen the Fly that keeps joining me when I'm in my usual recording space. It's travelled all the way down here with me to join me and annoy me in this video, but I think it's gone now. But Whitney sort of feels like the new Brent of the game, how people don't really want to be around them and talk to them. I mean, it's kind of like, listen, I know we always talk about how, just because someone's the target doesn't mean you should keep them out of the social aspect of the game, keep them in the loop. It's just naturally difficult too. It's awkward to be around that person when you're about to vote them out, It's difficult, it really is. But I get what Whitney's saying. It must be tough. It's always going to be tough when you're the target and people aren't, necessarily looking you in the eye. But apparently I think she was sat with Derek X and Hannah, and Derek X made a comment about how, next week me and you are going to be the only ones on slop. Obviously Hannah's on the block. Me and you would obviously mean if Hannah's there to be on slop, then Whitney's not even going to be there at all. So that was a bit of an awkward one there. But Whitney's plan, basically, when she was saying earlier at this point in the day, she was going to go talk to Christian about putting Derek X up on the block as the replacement. Big D helped out Whitney with the case of putting Derek X up on the block, and he was basically saying, if we flash back to week 1 when Alyssa ended up on the block, it was actually Derek X who started the rumour that ended up getting Alyssa nominated. Obviously that was a crazy head of household reign, obviously with Frenchie in charge, so anything could have happened in that week. Thank you, Frenchie, for the entertainment. So yeah, I mean, she's really kind of just building that case, and I think Big D, whilst he isn't making the massive moves, he is kind of just subtly making little influences here and there, just to try and sway, I guess, getting a showman's out. Because listen, whilst Christian and Alyssa aren't there, people are talking about how, the showman's needs to go. Derek X and Hannah are nearly, they're nearly a showman's. I mean, they seem to have probably better chemistry than Christian and Alyssa do. But they're equally two people who are going to be like that, when it comes down to it. So as much as everybody thinks they're fantastic, because I think Derek X and Hannah are awesome, the logical, removing yourself from the human level of things, putting yourself into the game, it makes total sense, really, to target Derek X and Hannah, because, they are like that. And Whitney is someone that you can probably just get as a number. But I get it with all this, all this talk of the royal flush, and there's so many social dynamics thrown into this season. It's brilliant. I guess you've just got to put your put your fate into what you think is best, and obviously they think Whitney's the best option. But I mean, it depends really who you are as well. And I think as well with the whole pushing Derek X thing from Whitney's standpoint, we talked about yesterday how Christian and Alyssa is doing the legwork for them whilst they're in power. Alyssa and Christian have created an F4 with Tiffany and Claire, and then they went on to create one with Derek X and Hannah. Obviously they can't stay loyal to both of those F4s, but one thing's for sure, why would they put Derek X up on the block just when they've created an F4? It would create more trouble for themselves. Just doesn't really make sense. So Hannah was sort of quizzing Christian on days, as you do in the Big Brother house, because when it gets down to the wire, usually final five-ish, Julie does the veto or head of household competition that it's in regards to on day 64, who said this, or on day 32, who was on the block, or all those sorts of questions. And Christian and Hannah Hannah was testing him on them, and Hannah was apparently getting them all bang, correct every single time. So Tiffany, being the legendary social player that she is, God, legendary is a strong word. I know a lot of you folks won't agree with it, but that's kind of how I see her shaping up into anyway. I feel like her game is going in that direction. But she basically told Hannah, dumb it down. You can't be doing that when you're on the block. You can't be going, yes, this, because, I mean, Whitney's not exactly going to go up into the head of household room and quiz Christian on the days and get them all right, or not that we would expect anyway. So, people are going, Whitney, Hannah, so there's the comparison of the two. So Tiffany's obviously trying to help Hannah out there by saying, dumb it down, or you're going to get a target on your back. So Tiffany, we've got to thank for that one. Furthermore, in that case, Tiffany was kind of coaching Hannah and sort of saying, look, you need to get a bit more buddy-buddy with Sarah Beth, because obviously Sarah Beth is pushing for Hannah's name, and we've seen this go out more and more. And the logical thing to do in that case probably isn't to keep your distance. You can still, listen, right, this is the logic behind it, right? Hannah could still put Sarah Beth up next week, and should put Sarah Beth up next week if she wins power, because for her move that makes the most logical sense for her game. However, I will say this, it doesn't harm being buddy-buddy, because if Sarah Beth wins head of household, it could hopefully sway her in the direction to not put you up on the block. But all better off when you become the head of household. You can become buddy-buddy, but always remember that Sarah Beth threw your name out first, and the Hannah will go, I choose to nominate Sarah Beth. But it, as I said, doesn't harm to become buddy-buddy like Tiffany said, because then it lessens the target on you if Sarah Beth does become the head of household. It's all about social dynamics. It's all about lying, and it's backstabbing. It's Big Brother. It's what we all love. Now, Xavier had mentioned at one point to Tiffany, just in total solidarity, said it to her and her only, that he believes Sarah Beth could be playing for AFP or could be playing as America's player, and she has to get to the jury to get a cash prize, or, he thinks that she will basically consolidate AFP in the bag if she makes it to jury. Not only that, he thinks, and I think everybody thinks, that she's a phenomenal player, which she is playing fantastically. Tiffany, then went on to tell a couple more people later, because she told Claire and Hannah about it, and Tiffany made them do like a pinky swear, like a three-way pinky swear, that nobody would say that Xavier told her that. But that talk continues going on. Tiffany was talking to Derek X, didn't say it came from Xavier. See, this is what she does. She's amazing. She doesn't necessarily say that Xavier said it. She just says what has been said. So she's brilliant. So she was telling Derek X about how she feels that, again, she could be playing for AFP, or she has to get to jury to get this cash prize. And Tiffany just feel, as the player that she is, Sarah Beth she needs to go potentially before jury, as she's a threat to her game. And Tiffany makes total sense. Sarah Beth is a dangerous player. So next week, this is really just, we'll talk about the build-up after Brent was evicted. We thought, it's either going to be Christian and Alyssa as the targets. That obviously went out the window when Christian won head of household. And we thought maybe potentially Brittany, because she'd obviously just been up on the block week after week after week. And obviously Whitney and Hannah were the names thrown around by Christian and Alyssa's side. Next week, all better off. Listen, so many people are going to be going for Christian and Alyssa. People are probably going to be putting Brittany up as a pawn if they need to. I would say Hannah's name will still be out there, because it's been out this week, especially if Whitney goes, that is. or specifically if Whitney goes. And obviously, Sarah Beth now has created a name for herself, and also Derek X, because Sarah Beth threw that out. That is, nearly half the house's name that are getting thrown out. I would imagine as well, there's still a few more days to go to eviction, so probably add a couple more names in that ring, then you've got over half the house of targets next week. This is Big Brother. Thank you, Big Brother. Boozy times towards the end of the evening when the BB nightclub opened for business. We had Big D on the doors, the bouncers, security letting people in one by one, and as they went in, they went up on the balcony. It was really, really cool. They were all doing speed dating. It was they were like all being different characters and putting terrible accents on. Listen, as much as we love the game talk, it's nice when we get a little bit of entertainment like that just makes you laugh. Big Brother, it's just sometimes the whole package when you get, you sat there going, yes, this is great game talk. Then also, it can make you laugh sometimes. It just puts a smile on your face. Just boozy nightclub times, ace times. Now, after the nightclub, about 1 a.m, Whitney actually went to speak to Christian about the pitch that she was talking about putting Derek X up on the block. Nothing too persuasive, nothing too impressive. But then again, what were we going to expect? Listen, Christian has been kind of... Well, I wouldn't say Christian's been hell-bent on trying to get her out, because Christian hasn't necessarily been a strong model head of household. He's kind of been... Alyssa has been calling the shots, and it's not necessarily something that's going, let's make a big move. It's kind of just like, yeah, house wants out Whitney. Let's take her out. That's kind of the situation that it is. And what's the point of ruffling feathers, I guess. So, at least, a big respect to Whitney. I will say that overall. A big respect to Whitney for trying at least. But at this point, as of today, there's a few more days to go, but as of this point, it looks like Whitney's fate is sealed. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on the past few days of game, or just anything to do with Big Brother in the comment section below. How do you think Christian is doing as the head of household? Are you happy with the nominees being Whitney and Hannah? Did you enjoy the BB nightclub? If you saw that, what are you thinking of Sarah Beth on her Big Brother warpath of trying to get Hannah and Derek X out? There's so much to talk about, folks, so let me know in the comment section below. But again, I want to thank everybody. I do every single day because I mean a ton. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Whenever you do, if you just watch one video, if you watch every single day, if you watch a couple, I appreciate every single last one of you. The support is just respect to you all and love to you all, guys. I just appreciate it massively. But folks, as I always say, make sure that you're staying safe, staying positive, and staying healthy out there. Make sure that you're being kind to one another. But in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.